Got a network update for you guys from T-Mobile. This is the third Sprint rack that I have spotted completely removed in my market. So I've also seen the tech extremists tell me that this is happening in Phoenix. And I believe I've seen some commenting that it's happening in their market as well. So it's not happening at scale here. It's not happening at scale in Phoenix. But I'm assuming it is happening nationwide, just at a much smaller scale. So 3, 4, 5 sites that T-Mobile is completely removing off the rack. So what I mean by removing, that means the panel is coming down, the panels, the radios, the support for the panels and radios, the cabling, the fiber, the baseband, everything is being removed. So the picture you see here, the second rack below at the bottom is the Sprint rack. T-Mobile is all the way at the top. So this is what the site looks like now. As you can see, Sprint is completely gone. T-Mobile still remains at the top, of course. Sprint is gone. So this is, a lot of people have been asking me, well, if T-Mobile says they're not going to shut off CDMA for 3 more months, in April of 2022, then why are they already removing and decommissioning Sprint sites? Well, so what's happening here is if you just have to leave a layer of CDMA on, you don't need all those sites. You just don't. You can cover a large radius with CDMA with just one tower. So that's what I presume. If CDMA is still needed, T-Mobile will optimize the Sprint site nearest to cover that area. CDMA still was mainly for calling, and back then it was still, the data usage was very light. It wasn't that big yet until we got to LTE. So for most of those users, calling should still be fine on CDMA with having to use one site to fill in another area as the site gets removed. Now, what does this, how does T-Mobile benefit from this? Well, this is where the cost savings kick in. T-Mobile right now is still operating around 105,000 towers. Way more towers than they plan to keep in the plan. At the end of the plan, they plan to have 85,000 macros towers on air. So they still have to go through decommissioning the Sprint sites. And as you see here, they're completely removing them. Now, what kicks in here? They no longer have to pay the lease for this rack. That's done now. That means they don't have to. Also, they don't have to pay the leasing for that fiber. That's done now on the Sprint rack, and they no longer have to pay for maintenance for that site if it does go down or whatnot. Not saying that they were, but if that site does go down, they would still have to pay for maintenance for a tower crew to go to that site and apply that maintenance or whatever's needed. So they no longer have to service that at all. So that's some of the cost savings that are already kicking in, because that's very expensive to keep that rack up and running. And they're technically on their operations, OPEX, they're operating 2 networks. So the cost savings are going to come fairly quick. If they're paying to decommission and paying to rip these sites out completely, that means the cost savings are going to be accelerated even more. And like I mentioned, they no longer have to pay the lease for the actual, for the equipment to be on that site. The fiber, all that now is cost savings. And I predict in 2022, we're going to see a lot more of this. It's going to scale in 22, especially after the April and CDMA shutoff date. That's when that's really going to accelerate. And then in June of 2022, when they shut off the Sprint network completely, that's when that's going to explode. We're going to see them taking all the Sprint stuff off completely, 100%. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Look forward to reading your comments. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe for more content. Make sure to follow my social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I will see you in the next one. Peace.